You know, really, I could have named this video, "Let's Eat Birthday Cake and Listen to Kalmah." I'm not going to do that because that was happening during the playthroughs, not during the review itself, but, yeah, Birthday Cake's awesome. 7th Swamphony from Kalmah. The name sounds corny, I know, but let's face it, they're really, 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 really obsessed with swamps. They really like swamps a lot. Now, as you can probably imagine by the title, this is the band's 7th album, and these guys have been going at it for a little while now, and they have definitely gotten a lot of acclaim and underground devotion. There's a lot of devoted fans to this group, and you really can see why, considering right around the same time we saw the escalation, the intensity, and the popularity of bands from the melodic death metal scene, the Children of Bodoms and the Northers of the world. So you definitely can understand why Kalmah, for them, it was easy to kind of latch on board and become a part of the fold. With 7th Swamphony, there's a lot of people that feel that there's a little bit of layover from the last album. They feel that they really had something to prove with this release, something that they needed to kind of have a really good outing in order for some people to be completely satisfied and feel as though this band has not dropped off the face of the planet. Now, whenever you first look at this album, the first thing you're going to notice is its 8-track length and the presence of some longer tracks, including a massive 7-minute or hollow, I believe, in the middle. And this is where I think it gets really, really interesting for this band, because there's a couple of different, you know, so-called self-proclaimed genres, and not self-proclaimed by the band, self-proclaimed by some fans, online writers, whatever it may be, that this band has been associated with. Of course, I mentioned the melodic death metal, and one that is kind of funny to me, it's almost like they're just slapping adjectives together, is extreme power metal. And while I can understand the justification behind this, I actually, whenever I listen to Hollow here in the middle point of the record, and even on some other portions of this album, I'm more tempted to gear myself more toward the concept of like a folk or a Viking metal, because at some points in time, this band reminds me a lot of a melo-death TYR. If you know TYR, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Something in their cadence, something in just portions of songwriting that I heard while listening to 7th Swamphony that definitely granted that comparison. So with that said, that's actually not a bad thing whatsoever, considering TYR is a very good band, a band that I think I've never actually reviewed on this channel, which is rather surprising. That may change, you never know. Now, with this album, considering they do have so much to prove, they definitely need to amp up everything. They need to amp up the riffs, the songwriting, the production value, and just about anything that they could really, you know, anything that they could improve is definitely going to be a positive thing for this band. And really, you have to also understand that if you enjoyed the last album, I'm going off of a base consensus, not necessarily making blanket terms such as everybody. Because, for one, I didn't mind the last album. I wasn't completely enraptured by it or enthralled by it, but I thought it was decent. I didn't think that it was a stinker. So, I mean, that really shows the potato there. But with this album, the consistency on it is definitely of the utmost importance and something that they've taken the utmost care on. This is definitely a release that is able to flow naturally from point A to point B, from track 1 to track 8, in a very linear and very, very good fashion, albeit while also, you know, giving you plenty of variety, giving you plenty of really songwriting dojo expertise in order to really understand what really makes and crafts a very elegantly created melodic death metal album of this variety. And the reason why is because they're able to shift up the pacing a little bit. This is not one where they have to rip-roar from inception to conclusion in order to really get their point across. They're able to, you know, slow things down a little bit. They're able to take their time, but at the same time, they're also able to just thrash around and, you know, really do what it is that they do best. You know, there is not so much a heavy presence of keys on this album, but whenever they do show up, goddamn, they are extremely important, not to mention they sound absolutely fantastic. So overall, whenever you combine all of these elements together, you have the makings of a really, really solid album. Now for the downfalls. The one thing that I noticed that was kind of a downfall is that while the songwriting and the structure and everything like that is certainly a huge positive, definitely something that's been amplified since the last release, I feel that there's a little similarity in some of the tracks, and I think that this is pretty much a minor gripe by comparison to other things that we could be talking about. I mean, I could be talking about everything being simplistic and boring, but this isn't a, Queensryche with Jeff Tate album, so I'm not doing that. I think that the biggest surprise on this record is actually in its consistency, even if there are certain moments where you feel as though there's a bit of a similar crumb going on, and that's okay. That's something where that is their voice, that is their body, that is everything that is about Kalmah. So that is certainly an element in which, in some portions or in some elements, is completely unavoidable. This is a release that if you find it at your local record establishment, either that or you find yourself with a cart full of items on an online site that you're ordering from, and you need something to maybe bolster up a total, that way you get free shipping or something like that, you should definitely add this album on, because it's certainly one that you're going to enjoy. There's not a lot of things to complain about on this record, so it's going to be a positive experience. You're going to be able to flow through it very quickly, so it's not going to feel like it overstays its welcome. In fact, if anything, you kind of almost thirst for a little bit more whenever it ends. It's kind of one of the other negatives, is that in some portions, this is actually one that suffers from being just a skosh too short. But, on that other side, the devil's advocate side of me, I am always the type of person that complains whenever bands go way too long and drawn out and just bore you. So I think that this is something where I can almost dismiss that and just say that it's the perfect length. So overall, this is an album I'd have to give an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the experience. I think that you guys will as well. There's definitely a lot on here for the mellow death metal fan that's going to really captivate them, and it's definitely been a positive year. In fact, I'm not even going to say that. It's definitely been a positive month for melo-death, considering the Children of Bodom album was very good. So there you go. If you thought that melo-death was kind of on a decline, well, here's two albums that are proving to the otherwise. So there you go. Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or whatever the fuck you celebrate. Have a new Kalmah album. I'll see ya.